Hi, we're back. We've got our seed starting trays right here and they're ready and they've been sterilized. And now we're gonna fill them up with, this is sterile seeding mix. And the reason why it needs to be sterile is for that reason I told you about before. We don't want funguses coming and killing our new starts. And when things are in a situation like this and things are closer together, you actually have a danger of something called damping off. And that's caused by a fungus. So basically what we want to do is start with everything as clean as possible. If you can't buy this stuff, which by the way, it's expensive, what you can do is you can actually take some soil that's relatively fertile and it's got a lot of organic matter in it so that it drains well. And you can stick it in your oven and bring it up to temperature. If it's moist, it helps a lot. And it's just kind of like baking brownies, except in the end you get dirt. So I am about to make a mess in my kitchen. This is actually my favorite place to start seeds because I've got the water here and I've got the equipment and all that nice stuff. If I had a greenhouse at my disposal, which I actually kind of do on the side of the house, but it doesn't have a sink. So I prefer to just clean up here afterwards. I figure if this was where I prepare my food, it can also be where I start my food. So basically what we want to do is take all this and smoosh it around. This is one of my favorite things to do with kids because they like to get their hands into it. Now, like I said, because this stuff is kind of expensive, it's $10 a bag, I mean, you know, for dirt. And actually, I should bite my tongue. All dirt is not the same, and this is actually soil, and it's beautiful stuff, and I should have more respect. But I want to make sure that I can capture everything that comes off to the side too. Not fun looking. Here we go. This is actually a wonderful thing to do in the mornings. It's nice. Gets you to thinking about the seeds you plant throughout the day. You know, I actually teach sustainable gardening, and the longer you get to know me, the more you'll understand conscious gardening. For me, gardening is a zen. It is a moving meditation, which has the Cracker Jack prize at the end of the day of either beauty or food or both. I think we're gonna need a little bit more of that. And it's quite honestly what's taught me the most about the universe and how things work. It's taught me, in fact, I teach conscious choice making through gardening, because gardening teaches you all sorts of interesting things, like intentionally seeding your life with things that'll come to fruition that will be healthy for you. I mean, you could actually intentionally seed your things in your life that aren't healthy for you or you don't want around, and that's where intentional weeding comes in. Kind of interesting. In fact, we're going to be learning about pruning as well. Here we go. Okay, so pretty much what I want to be doing here, you level the whole thing off. Most things, most seeds you're going to be doing aren't going to be much more than 1/4 of an inch, and if they are, you're going to be pushing further holes in there. So right now, I'm taking my 2 fingers. I suppose I could use 2 hands right now, but I'm taking my 2 fingers and making a slight indents, because this is fairly dry stuff. It's going to push down a little bit. And then once we lay our seed in there, we can actually put a dusting over the top and then moisten the whole thing from the bottom. And we're all set. They can sit there, and then tomorrow I'm going to be teaching you how to make a propagating table with a heat mat made out of Christmas tree lights, so that we can get these guys going. Now, the first thing that I really want to be thinking about, because You know, I know they say 8 weeks, and we're at the beginning of it now. That actually is enough time to start settling in. And to tell you the truth, nobody knows what's happening, so we might as well just all start taking care of ourselves first and foremost, because it keeps other people from having to take care of you. So the first things that we're going to be putting into the soil are the things that are going to take a long time. Let me grab all this. And then the things that are going to take not such a long time. Let's see what we've got here. These are going to go straight into the soil. These are actually radishes. And remember I told you how to look at how many days that you're going to need. Well, the soil temperature for this is 45 degrees to plant outside, and we don't quite have that. Last night we had some freezing, so we don't actually want that. Let's see what we've got here. Lettuce. That is something that I want straight away. There are other things that I want to be putting in the ground too, which are tomatoes. And my brassicas, which are broccoli, cauliflower, peppers. I really love Jimmy Dardello peppers. They're small and sweet, and in the Pacific Northwest where we don't get a lot of heat, which I love, these guys will actually mature. So one of my flats I'm going to do for things that are going to take 8 weeks just to be able to put out into the garden. So today I'd like to actually make a flat that are my tomatoes and peppers. I don't need a lot of them. I think I'm going to actually be planting about 40 tomato plants, and these are, I believe, 75 cells. So my tomatoes and my peppers are going to fit into one flat. Now that doesn't look like a lot, but it will, and I'm going to actually have to up pot those 3 times, so I'm going to be up potting 75 plants. So we're going to do those, and we're going to do a flat of greens, of baby greens, and I think I'm going to start in that same flat. I'm going to start some of my brassicas. So that'll actually get us going. That's fabulous. Great, okay. And I think, truthfully, I might, this is me thinking, ooh, some nice kale. Ooh, oh. I want some purple sacred basil. This is gonna make me happy. In fact, this is the first thing that's going in. Tulsi is this amazing plant. It's called sacred basil. And it's an adaptogen, and it helps to chill you out. I mean, seriously, you drink this stuff all day long, you could live with your in-laws and nothing would happen. So let's start that out. I know for a fact that Tulsi goes in about 1/4 of an inch, and now you can see it's actually really tiny seed. And the way, and we did talk about this, that seed's expensive, so I take just a tiny little pinch. I only really want 3 of these things to come up in each cell, but I also do know that this seed is 5 years old. So I'm gonna take this and just twist my fingers so that maybe I know that maybe 5 seeds got in there. And you can kind of feel it out. Now, because this is me just starting this all out, I left my markers in my car because I was teaching earlier this week, and that's really important actually, to mark what it is that you put into those little holes. So right now, so I'm going to put this right under here, and then later on I'm going to put the markers, and you'll see them. I actually scored this like whole bag of, I swear, 1,000 teeny tiny little plastic spoons for ice cream, and they are going to make the most amazing tags for my plants, and I can reuse them. That makes me happy. Next up, I'm going to be putting in New Red Fire loose leaf lettuce. I chose this one because it's only 55 days, so it's 55 days in optimal conditions for me to get it to harvest. So now here's the thing. I actually don't want in 55 days to get, I don't know, 100 heads of lettuce. I won't have any way to, well, no, I won't say that. It's not that I won't have any way of getting rid of them. There's a lot of people who need them, but I'm going to think about how many people I have in my life. That includes the elders who I take care of, who may not have access to fresh food. And it also includes the food pantry in town, where all the farmers actually, and gardeners, put in extra food every year so that we can share with the people who don't have as much as we do. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I live on an island, and it has taught me immeasurable amounts about people taking care of people. Here on the island, we actually take care of each other. Like the Amish, if there's a fire, people show up for each other and help rebuild. If you're sick, gosh, people show up and help. That's good, right? It took 12 hours for our whole community to get it together and organize a system so that we could take care of the over 50% of our island is over 50, and that would include me. And oddly, and mildly nervously, I'm a caregiver and one of the youngest on the island, which puts actually all the other caregivers on the island in a vulnerable state. So we're actually working out so we can train up younger caregivers who are less likely to come down with the infection or to be as hard hit. So we're all training together. So basically what I just did was I did one row of New Red Fire, which will mature in 55 days, and another row of, oh nice, it's biodynamic seed. I like that. We'll talk about that later. It's called Optima, and it's a butterhead. Oh man, these actually last a little bit longer in the soil, especially in cool conditions. So what I'm going to do actually is probably put in, I think I actually might put in three rows of 1, 2, 3, 6, that'd be 30. That'd be cool. I'll do it. And like I said, the reason why is because I know I can use it, and if I can't, I'll share it. Now the reason why I don't want to go to town with this is because I only have, quite honestly, a certain amount of seed. And I got to think that one out too. In fact, I think I might need to order some more seed today. And hopefully it'll get delivered. Okay. Now, with the cabbage, I'm looking at, this is Ruby Ball and it's an F1. This actually means that it's a hybrid and I might not get seed off of it, so I'm just going to be going for everything that's in there. So in 78 days, I'll get a 6 to 8 inch red head of cabbage, and cabbage is actually so good for you. All brassicas are. They're incredible anti-inflammatory foods, and especially they actually come with, I forget how to pronounce the word, anthracins. I don't know. Anyway, another incredible anti-inflammatory, especially if you're older, you're over 50, like me. So if I were to plant out, I would need a soil temperature of 55 degrees, and it just, quite frankly, is not that up there. Like I said, it's frozen this morning. It was a cold, cold night, and my soil temperature for germination, this actually means that, and it can't be higher than 75. This is something you actually want to think about, because if you're going to make a flat, you can't make a flat that you're putting on heat and it's above 75. So my flat for my peppers and my tomatoes and my eggplant are probably going to be the only one I'm going to put on that heat map. So I'm going to put in the New Red Fire, which will bring me to this here. So, crack it out. I only want, because this is new seed, I'm only going to put 2 per cell. And like I said, I don't have a ton of seed. I am going to have to either buy some more. In about 2 weeks, I'm going to actually plant another set of this. So I put in 2 rows of that, and then I'm